We're back. Yes, I'm doing the preview first. I'll do the power rankings last. I just think this way I'll have more energy for the power rankings. What happens is I do the power rankings, they tend to be a little longer, and then I get to the preview and there's just no energy left. So this way, hopefully, I guess I could end up petering out halfway through the power rankings, but let's just go ahead and get there. And let's start with Carolina in against Pittsburgh. This starts at 1:30 Eastern. Put your clocks ahead. Which is 10:30 a.m. Pacific, but of course it'll feel like 9:30 a.m. to me because the clock's going ahead an hour. So 36-25-5 is the record for Carolina. Over their last 10, they're now 4-4-2. They're coming off of that win against the Islanders. They're 17-13-3 on the road now. For Pittsburgh, they're 39-22-6. Over their last 10, they were a disturbing 3-7. I know those 3 wins are together. I know it's 3 of the last 4, but still, seeing 3-7, it's not great. They're 23-7-4 at home. So they've got to pick it up. And the good news is, if they can pick it up against Carolina, they're going to see Carolina a lot from here. I don't know who the schedule maker is, but I'd love to sit down and talk to him about how this happens. This is the first meeting of 4. March 14th in Carolina, March 24th in Pittsburgh, and then March 28th in Carolina again. So these teams are going to get to know each other very well. They will meet 4 times in 20 days. Yep. So get ready to get sick of the Penguins if you're a Canes fan, and get ready to get sick of the Canes if you're a Pens fan. Scoring, and I just went with 4 scorers. In some cases, it's 3 defensemen. I just went with random people at this point. Edmondson, 7 goals, 13 assists, 20 points. He had a goal today. We'll see if he's going to get hot for them. Aho, 36 goals, 27 assists, 63 points. He's a little bit below a point a game, but I'm not going to say it's been any sort of a disappointing season when a guy's about to score 40-plus goals. Slavin, 5 goals, 30 assists. The guy's a rock on the blue line. Brady Shea, it's been a bit of a challenge for Shea since he arrived there. 8 goals, 16 assists. Does he have a point yet with Carolina? And he does tend to take the odd penalty here and there, and there's the odd giveaway. So we'll see how Brady Shea ends up. I think it's been more of a rough start for him in Carolina than expected. On the Pittsburgh side, Marino, 6 goals, 20 assists. Not as prominent since his return, but of course we don't know if he's a complete 100% player or not. Zucker, now with 20 goals, 21 assists, 41 points. McCann, 14 goals, 20 assists, 34 points. As the team's gotten healthier, his role with the team has diminished. Malkin, 22 goals, 48 assists, 70 points. I believe this is the 11th time he's had 70-plus points. And he's one of four active players, I think, with that many. Anyways, he's in some pretty heady territory when it comes to points, so I thought I would throw Malkin on the board. And for Pittsburgh, every game's really important right now, if they're concerned with trying to track down teams ahead of them. If they're concerned. Maybe they're not. Tampa, in against Detroit. These guys have to feel pretty good. This game starts at 2 o'clock Pacific, 5 o'clock Eastern. So there's a 3.5-hour break between here and here. Look for a review of this game all by itself. And maybe a review of this game all by itself as well, depending on what happens in it. Tampa, 43-20-5, coming off of that emotional victory over Boston. Don't fall into the trap against Detroit. They're 5-5 in their last 10. They're 21-10-3 on the road. Detroit's 16-48-5. 37 points. Can they hit 40? I think they'll hit 40. They're 2-7-1 in their last 10. At home, they're 11-22-2. They're a team that gave Tampa Bay a run for their money on December 29th. They only lost 2-1 in Tampa. These teams will meet 2 more times. March 14th at Tampa, and then April 4th, the last night of the season, the regular season, in Detroit. So Tampa Bay ends their season in Detroit. If they get close to Boston, they may need that win. Well, they'll need this one too to get close, right? Killorn now has 26 goals, 23 assists, 49 points in his career year. Braden Point, 23 goals, 39 assists, 62 points for him. Yanni Gourde, 10 goals, 18 assists, 28 points. Feels like he's had a better second half than he had in the first. And Kucherov, 33 goals, 50 assists, 83 points. He is 17 points away from 100. Nobody's talking about him at all. And they've played, 68 games? If he gets 17 points in 14 games, he hits 100. And nobody's talking about him. It's so weird. Fabry, 14 goals, 17 assists, 31 points for him. Bertuzzi with a goal in his last game. Can he hit 20? He's at 19 goals, 24 assists, 43 points. We'll see if he hits 20 tomorrow. Larkin also trying to hit 20. He's at 18 goals, 32 assists, 50 points. Daly had an assist in their last game. He's at 0 goals, 7 assists. We'll see if me putting him on the board gets him that goal. I know that's not how it works, but there's been a couple times this year I throw somebody on the board and they get a goal in their next game. Look how many times I had to put McAvoy on the board, though, before he got that first goal. Anyways, for Tampa, it's not an important game so much as it's a you don't want to lose against Detroit. You just don't want to lose against Detroit. I'm sorry, Detroit. You're that team nobody wants to lose against. Vegas in against Calgary. I'm taking a risk wearing Calgary, aren't I? But I'd love to see the Pacific Division tighten right back up again. I want to see Calgary get a win, Vancouver get a win, Vegas take the loss in overtime, or not in overtime, in regulation, and just see everybody just get all clumped up again just when we think the unclumping has finally taken place. That is the technical term, unclumping of the Pacific Division. So, Vegas, it's a word. 37-24-8 is their record. They're 8-2 in their last 10. They've been playing very, very well. They're coming off of a frustrating loss against Winnipeg. They're 15-13-4 on the road. So they have won only 15 of 32 games on the road. Now, for Calgary, they're 36-26-7. They're 6-3-1 overall. They're 16-12-4 at home. So they've won 16 out of 32 at home. And they've had their frustrations at home themselves. So this is not easy to predict. Other than this, Vegas beat them in Calgary. Or Vegas won at home against Calgary 6-2 on October 12th. Then they destroyed Calgary 6-0 at home. I say that Calgary holds serve tomorrow. I say this series between these two teams continues to be who's at home. They win. I still think that's going to happen. It's bizarre, and I want to see it continue because the bizarre always makes the NHL more fun to cover. Scoring for the Vegas Golden Knights, Martinez. 3 goals, 11 assists, 14 points. Definitely more offensively gifted with Vegas than he ever was in L.A. Marchessault, 20 goals, 24 assists, 44 points. He's been stuck on that for a while, I think. Schmidt, 7 goals, 23 assists, 30 points. As Vegas gets better, Schmidt seems to play smaller role offensively. Theodore allows him to do that. 11 goals, 33 assists, 44 points. Shea Theodore has a very excellent chance of being the first Vegas defenseman to hit 50 points in a season. On the Calgary side, Brody, 4 goals, 15 assists, 19 points. He's been playing well lately. Tkachuk, 22 goals, 38 assists, 60 points. And he's been fighting. We'll see if he gets in a fight tomorrow. There are a couple of guys in Vegas who might be willing to go. Lindholm, 29 goals, 25 assists, 54 points. These games have been known to get ugly too. And Gustafsson, 6 goals, 22 assists, 28 points. I think he's been a good addition to the Calgary Blue Line. I still like that addition a lot. I think that was a very good trade for them. We'll see if that continues tomorrow. St. Louis. So, well, this starts at 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific, which is early for Calgary, and I don't think they change time. I know Saskatchewan doesn't. Alberta may. So anyways, Chicago, this one starts a half an hour later in Chicago against St. Louis. And so for Chicago, if they're going to make a run, they have to beat St. Louis tomorrow night at home. And for St. Louis, who've been playing very, very well lately, they have to make sure that they don't kind of get into the muck with Chicago. They won their last game against Chicago, but I don't think they're going to be happy about how they did it. They're 40-18-10 overall. They're 8-2-0 in their last 10. On the road, they're 17-12-5. Now, Chicago, 31-29-8 overall. They're 5-5 in their last 10. They're flirting with the idea of being in the race, but the problem is there are a lot of teams to jump to get there. 15-13-4 at home, and that loss against Detroit, that really takes the starch out of them. December 2nd, St. Louis won in Chicago, 4-0. St. Louis then won at home against Chicago on December 14th, 4-3, and then February 25th, very recently, St. Louis beat the Blackhawks 6-5. So St. Louis has won all three. They're trying to make it a clean sweep tomorrow in Chicago. Now, Braden Shen had a 5-game goal streak broken in his last game, but he's got a 6-game point streak. 25 goals, 31 assists, 56 points for him. Thomas, 10 goals, 31 assists, 41 points. Look for at least 60 from him next season. Parayko, 9 goals, 18 assists, 27 points. One of the best defensemen in the league. One of the most underrated as well, league-wide. O'Reilly, 12 goals, 47 assists, 59 points. Hasn't been as prominent as last year, but I think that's kind of what makes St. Louis scarier, is that O'Reilly, I don't think, has been as good as last year, and yet look where they are. They still have 90 points. They're still likely to finish first in the West. Colorado may have something to say about it, though. Keith, 2 goals, 23 assists, 25 points. He's been scoring at a pretty good clip recently. DeBrincat, 18 goals, 24 assists, 42 points. Frustrated by a couple of posts in his last game. And I have a funny feeling that he's ready to hit that 20-goal mark maybe as soon as tomorrow night. Taves, 18 goals, 40 assists, 58 points. He's on the verge of 20 goals as well. Patrick Kane, 31 goals, 51 assists, 82 points. He's not going to score anywhere near what he did last year, but he has still got a very good chance of scoring 100 points. That would be insane. That being said, we're going to board number 2. So, Minnesota. You have to take what happened against LA and push it out of your mind. It's not easy. Can't be easy to come out of a game where they lost 7-3 against the Kings and then get ready for Anaheim. And Anaheim has been playing spoiler relatively well lately too. All 3 California teams have decided, all right, we can do the spoiler thing. Yeah, we can do this. 34-27-7 is the record now for Minnesota. They need this win. They got to jump back into a playoff spot. They're 7-3 in their last 10. On the road, they're back to below 500. They're 15-16-2. Now, Anaheim, 28-32-8 overall. They're 4-5-1 in their last 10. They're coming off that win against Toronto, who in California isn't. 15-14-4 at home. Now, November 5th, Minnesota won in Anaheim, 4-2. Anaheim then returned the favor. They went to Minnesota and won in a shootout, 3-2 on December 10th. So a home team hasn't won one of these meetings yet. Donato, 14 goals, 9 assists, 23 points for the Minnesota Wild. We'll see if he gets more ice time and a chance to get closer to 20 goals this season. Stahl, 19 goals, 28 assists, 47 points. Luke Cunnin had his 15th goal in their last game. We'll see how he does tomorrow. 15-15 for 30 points for him. Fiala, great story. 21 goals, 31 assists, 52 points. Absolutely fantastic run for Kevin Fiala. Henrique, 25 goals, 15 assists, 40 points. He's had a pretty good run in the second half as well. He looks like he should be able to score 30. That would be an excellent total for him. Backus, 19 games, 1 goal, 3 assists this year. He did have an assist for Anaheim in their last game, so we'll see if he gets another one. Danton Heinen, also from Boston, 9 goals, 16 assists, 25 points. He's looked very good for Anaheim thus far. Raquel, 14 goals, 23 assists, 37 points. It's been a rough year, but it's been getting better. And we'll see if the goals start coming around because his play has been getting better. Maybe in part because Henrique, just the team in general, things have been getting better. The energy of the new players might be affecting the guys who are still holdovers, but it's been a better second half, I think, for Raquel than the first half. And we'll see if that translates into a good year next year. Columbus. Oh, this scares me. All right. So Vancouver won their last game over Colorado. And Canuck fans immediately forget the previous losses. All right, well, just forget it. They were great in the last game. I love recency bias. I really do. Can't wait till the power rankings tonight. Because, recency bias doesn't really play a role in that. And so they're at home tomorrow against Columbus. They're looking to avenge that embarrassing loss that they suffered. This one starts at 10 o'clock Eastern. The Anaheim game starts at 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific. So that's an hour and a half earlier than most games in Anaheim. This game right on time with normal Vancouver games against Columbus. Columbus 32-22-15 coming out of that loss in Edmonton tonight. Tough loss for them. They're 2-4-4 in their last 10. It's just been a crash for them. They're 12-10-11 on the road now. Bizarre record, right? And then Vancouver, they're 35-26-6. They're 4-5-1 in their last 10. So yes, they beat Colorado, but they're still 4-5-1 in their last 10. They're 21-8-4 at home. So we'll see how it works against Columbus. March 1st, Columbus won this meeting 5-3 at home. Vancouver can't afford to do that again. Werenski, 20 goals, 21 assists, 41 points as he continues to put up, goal-wise, the best season any defenseman has for Columbus in their history. Nyquist, now with 15 goals, 27 assists, 42 points. He had a goal in the Edmonton game tonight. Dubois, 18 goals, 30 assists, 48 points. It's been a disappointing second half for Dubois. But again, I say this with an asterisk because he hasn't had the guys around him that can help him. So that means that teams can key on Dubois a little bit more than they could if Atkinson was in the lineup, if Bjorkstrand was in the lineup, they've got 9 guys out of the lineup, so I could keep going for a while. Bemstrom, 9 goals, 10 assists. He got close to a goal tonight. I think he's going to get one. I'd rather it wasn't against Vancouver, but I don't have any control over it. On the Vancouver side, JT Miller, in the midst of a career season, 27 goals, 44 assists, 71 points. Yes, I do think JT Miller's having a career year. I did a video last summer, which was controversial-ish, where I talked about 10 guys who I thought scored too many points and would come down this year. And I think Miller's going to be on the video when I do it this summer. Spoiler alert. Edler, 5 goals, 26 assists, 31 points on the blue line. Pettersson, 26 goals, 38 assists, 64 points. And I think next year in Season 3, Pettersson's numbers are going to go up. Toffoli, 23 goals, 19 assists, 42 points. He's been excellent since coming over to Vancouver. We'll see if that continues. So for Vancouver, don't fall into the trap. Don't look at how they've been playing over the last 10 games. And don't take the last 5 minutes of the game off. That'd be really nice. Last game of the night, San Jose at home against Colorado. This one starts at 7 o'clock Pacific, 10 o'clock Eastern, the same time as the Vancouver game. For Colorado, they're 40-19-8. They're 7-1-2 in their last 10. So while people may want to make a big deal out of them losing in Vancouver, that's their first loss in regulation in 10 games. Now, they're 23-10-2 on the road. And so San Jose has a challenge. San Jose on the second half of back-to-backs, and they lost in overtime tonight. They could be a tired team tomorrow. 29-34-5 is the overall record for San Jose. They're 3-6-1 in their last 10. They're 17-16-2 at home. January 16th, these teams met in Colorado. The Avs won that game 4-0. They will meet again in Colorado on March 17th. On the Colorado side of things, Nichushkin, 13 goals, 14 assists, 27 points. He continues to have an excellent season. McKinnon, 34 goals, 56 assists, 90 points. So that Hart Trophy that's out there and Draisaitl wants it, McKinnon, the argument could be made for McKinnon. It'll be interesting to see how things go in June. Gerard, 4 goals, 30 assists, 34 points. He continues to have an excellent season. Landeskog, 20 goals, 19 assists, 39 points. And Landeskog's been picking it up offensively lately as well. On the San Jose side, Joe Thornton, 6 goals, 23 assists, 29 points. I do get the feeling this is his last season, but I said that last year. I said it the year before. So, maybe. Sorensen, 7 goals, 10 assists, 17 points. He's been playing better lately offensively. We'll see if that translates to points tomorrow. Vlasic, 5 goals, 10 assists. And Melker Karlsson, 5 goals, 6 assists, 11 points. I'll be interested to see if San Jose brings him back, where he ends up, if he ends up being an NHLer next year. He's got that feeling of a guy who may end up being out there as a UFA for a while and may end up playing in Europe next year. It just kind of has that feeling to it, even though I think Melker's a good, hard-working player. But fourth liners tend to be the most likely to end up kind of getting lost in the shuffle and maybe end up going over to Europe. We'll see. It's way too early to be predicting that any of that right now. Once we get into June, I'll get into all that prediction stuff. But hey, you guys are all set for tomorrow's games. Let me know your winners in the comment section below. All that other wonderful stuff in the comment section below. As said, do hit like and subscribe. We're so close to 135,000 subscribers. Yvonne's promised me that if I hit 135,000, I'll be allowed to leave the room. So I'm looking forward to that. I haven't been out of the room in quite a while, and I'm starting to wonder if outside exists. I am obviously kidding. I will talk to you guys again very soon.